Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pick Up the Truth. Hope everybody's well this evening and relaxing at home from the stress of all this crap that's going on around us. Now, I was thinking about getting back into the Bible and true style and see what we could find. Last time we left off at Genesis 5, I believe, and we were discussing how mothers were not revealed in the Bible and given credit for the childbirth that they experienced in nature. And nor did we read anywhere of how to guide the other women coming after them, how to go through the natural procedure of childbirth, which would be crucial and important information for any woman given birth at the time. And for any women now, I mean, it's crucial information for anyone. Now, we know from reading the Bible thus far that women are not created equal like the God that created us says we were in mankind, because women aren't given the respect and credit they deserve as far as being equal. Now, this is the first time that women are really being brought up in the Bible as far as Genesis goes, and it's not in a good way. So let's check it out and read what it what it has to brainwash our minds with. So, Genesis 6, wickedness in the world. Now, is this wickedness in the natural world or wickedness in the unnatural world? They're not specific, okay? Because they're trying to program and brainwash our minds into thinking they're all, the natural world and the unnatural world are both the same. And this is where the Bible is trying to deceive us against the natural world we were really created in. Okay, let's get started. When human beings began to increase in numbers on the earth and daughters were born to them, the sons of the God that created everything supposedly saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful. Okay? Like the God who created all did not know the beauty in his creation. Okay, that's a red flag right off the bat. And those daughters, they married, let's see, daughters of humans were beautiful. Now, the sons of God, who are the sons of God? Does it say? Not at all, because this is the first time that the sons of God were mentioned. Now, who could the sons of God be? It doesn't say. It says they saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. So the sons of God had to be plentiful and on the earth. Did they look like men that were created? I don't know. It doesn't say. It's so vague in these things that it wants to claim as truth. So let's continue. Then the Lord said, the Lord God that programs our minds said, "My spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal, Of course they are. You made them that way. Their days will be 120 years, okay? Because the one that created us supposedly is mad at us because we were too beautiful, and his sons wanted to have sex with the women that were just too pretty. So that's our fault. Okay? He made us this way, supposedly. And this is how we know this is not truth. Okay? Our Creator made the women beautiful. And the supposed sons that were never mentioned before, but now all of a sudden exist in numbers, manifested on the earth for the first time, are after the beautiful women that were created for the men. Okay, this is... Now, the sons of this supposed God that programs our mind and gets us to believe that it created us, wants us to believe that its sons had sex with our beautiful women, and now the Nephilim were created on the earth in those days and also afterwards with the sons of God. When the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them, they were the heroes of old, men of renown. Okay. This God that created us, doesn't he command that we have no idols, worship no idols? When his very sons were the heroes of old? Okay. Hypocrisy at best. How are we supposed to believe this garbage? Okay. The sons of God were the heroes of old because they had sex with our women. Okay, let's see. This program's God saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil at the time. Well, let's see. According to this story, your fucking piece of shit sons that's supposed to be from a perfect entity that created all, fuck shit up on the earth and what you created, and we're to blame to look horrible? Okay. This story is ridiculous. I have no idea how we believe this garbage. This is incredible. But let's continue. Now, this God saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil at the time. This God regretted that he had made human beings on the earth, and his heart was deeply troubled. So the God that programs our minds said, I will wipe from the face of the earth the human race I have created, and with them the animals, the birds, and the creatures that move along the ground. Okay, get this, guys. This piece of shit so-called God that created all. And yes, I will challenge this God with the real truth of creation. Let's go. Let's go right now, toe to toe with this God that programs every brother and sister of mine's mind. Let's go toe to toe, man, and see how you match up to true creation. You can't stand. You can't stand as we can see. Now, the Lord God that programs people's minds regretted that he made human beings on the earth, and his heart was deeply troubled. So this God said, I will wipe from the face of the earth the human race I have created, and with them the animals. Okay, I've already read this. I'm sorry, guys. Now, let's see. Now, let's ask a serious question. Okay? Now, the first time women are brought up in this Bible that programs our mind, all hell breaks loose. Okay? The beauty was just too much for God's supposed sons that we've never met or even heard of. Alright? And now, because of their misdeeds with what has been created, humans have to suffer, the animals have to suffer, the birds and all the creatures have to suffer. Everyone. Because this God regrets that he ever made them. Now, does that sound like something that created all? Does that sound like something that's to be respected and to be feared and to be thought of as what created such magnificence that we see in creation today? No, people. This is not truth. This is leading us away from truth. Okay, let's continue. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. Of course. Now, he didn't know how to contact this so-called God, but this God found favor in you, Noah, somehow. Now, let's go. That's another thing, you know. Favoritism. Do you think what created all would have favorites? Seriously. This is ridiculous for us to even take in as truth. Now, this is the account of Noah and his family. Noah was a righteous man. Now, how's that possible? Noah was a righteous man in an unrighteous world. And who says what's righteous and what's wrong? You know? Noah was already living in a man-made world of division, not created by the God that created him, but was created by what man had divided. Okay? The languages that were created by men created the borders that divided the land that they stole from the people. And it was even so back in these days. So, the wicked kingdoms and the wicked, I shouldn't say wicked, but as far as the kingdoms that were created and the laws that were created were to control the population of people, and they existed at this time also. So, let's continue. Now, Noah was a righteous man, so-called, in their system, blameless among the people of his time, and I guess that included everyone, and I don't know how that's possible, or how they would even came to that conclusion. And Noah walked faithfully with God, and again, I don't see how that's possible, because if anyone walks with God, they'll be judged. How's anyone going to be perfect enough to walk with somebody of such high standards that divides themselves amongst the creation? Now, Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now, the earth was corrupt in this God's sight and was full of violence. That was created by God's sons. Now, God saw how corrupt the earth had become, but did the God discipline the so-called sons for the corruptness? Of course not. But is he going to discipline men for the corruptness? Of course it will. For all the people on the earth had corrupted their ways. So this program, God said to Noah, I'm going to put an end to all people, for the earth is filled with violence because of them, and it could not possibly because of my piece of shit sons. No, this sounds like a fucking soap opera for All My Children or some shit, doesn't it? Okay, let's continue. I'm surely going to destroy both of them and the earth. So make yourself an ark of cypress wood. Make rooms in it and coat it with pitch inside and out. This is how you are to build it. The ark is to be 300 cubits long for your Freemasonry, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. Okay, guys. Make a roof for it, leaving below the roof an opening 1 cubit high all around. Put a door in the side of the ark and make lower, middle, and upper decks. I'm going to bring floodwaters on the earth to destroy all life under the heavens. Every creature that has the breath of life in it, everything on the earth will perish. And this is the God that created such magnificence of everything? I don't think so, people. This is just craziness. Now, why would it make sense to destroy all of life when none of life is at fault for what your sons have done? Okay? This is crazy, and we're meant to buy it? How can we, as rational thinking human beings, buy this load of bullshit? Okay. Now, this God says, everything on the earth that I created will perish because my sons fucked it up. But I will establish my covenant with you, and you will enter the ark, you and your sons and your wife and your sons' wives with you. Now, this is crazy, guys. We're expected to believe that the God that created all, the God that created all, told humanity what to do all the time, talked to humanity all the time, gave them specific instructions all the time, and now it happens none of the time? Okay. Oh, this is crazy. Okay, let's continue. You are to bring into the ark 2 of all living creatures, male and female, to keep them alive with you. 2 of... Now, we're supposed to believe that the God that programs our minds to believe it created all, created the living creatures to live with basic natural instincts and free will, and now they have to pay for the so-called sins of the sons of this God. Wow, people. Wow. How could we buy this garbage? It's crazy. Let's continue. Now, 2 of every kind of every kind of animal was supposed to be on the damn fake ass boat that this fake ass God we're given to believe in told Noah. You are to take every kind of food that is to be eaten and store it away as food for you and for them, but it doesn't mention exactly what food that is, okay? It's handy to be specific in some areas and not so handy to be specific in others. Just whatever serves their agenda. Now, Noah did everything just as God commanded, of course. Now, let's see where it takes him. Now, the program, God then said to Noah, "Go into the ark, you and your whole family, because I have found you righteous in this generation. Take with you 7 pairs of every kind of clean animal. Okay. A male and its mate, and 1 pair of every kind of unclean animal, a male and its mate. And also 7 pairs of every kind of bird, male and female, to keep their various kinds alive throughout the earth. 7 days from now I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights." Okay, let's see what we got here, because there's a lot of numbers. And it's more like a ritual that this so-called God is giving Adam to, or Noah to perform, okay? Let's see what this ritual consists of. Now, it says 7, take with you 7 pairs of every kind. That's 7. 7 and 1 pair of every kind. Okay. So if it says 1 pair of every kind, and also 7 pairs of every kind, that's another 7, so we have 2 7s, to keep the various kinds alive throughout the earth, okay? And then we have 7 days from now, which is another 7, so we have 3 7s, which is the hoax code. Masonic hoax code, 3 7s. It says, "From now I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and for 40 nights." Okay. You got your 44, all right, for destruction. Now, let's see. "And I will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature I have made." All right. Now that's what this program God is doing, because of the fault of his sons that we never knew existed now. And Noah did all that this God that programs our mind commanded him. Of course he did. No problems whatsoever with the impossible task at hand. Now, Noah was 600 years old. Yeah, of course. Of course he was. For your Masonic 6. When the flood waters came on the earth. And people, we've never seen anyone live that long ever, have we? 600 years old, give me a break. And we're expected to believe these fantastical stories that they give us now. Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters came on the earth, and Noah and his sons and his wife and his son's wife entered the ark to escape the waters of the flood. Pairs of the clean and unclean animals, of birds, and all the creatures that move along the ground, male and female, came to Noah and entered the ark, as God had commanded Noah. And after the 7 days of the flood waters, and after the 7 days the flood waters came on the earth, in the 600th year of Noah's life. Okay, 7 and 6, 13. Oh, wait a minute, let me see here. We have. And after the 7 days the flood waters came on the earth, in the 600th year of Noah's life, on the 7th day of the second month. Oh, coding. Oh, coding. Were numbers even invented back then? How would they know this? How would they know this, people? Were numbers invented back then? I don't believe so. Not according to the information that we have at hand. Now, oh, this is incredible bullshit. Now, let's continue. In the 600th year of Noah's life, on the 17th day of the second month, on that day, all the springs of the great deep burst forth, and the floodgates of the heavens were opened, and rain fell on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On the very day, Noah and his sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth, together with his wife and the wives of his 3 sons, entered the ark. They had with them every wild animal according to its kind, all livestock according to their kinds. They just keep repeating the same shit over again, guys. This is like the 3rd time they've said the same shit over again. They're just trying to fill up words on the paper. Okay? The paper that programs your mind with the words on it. Now, pairs of all creatures that have the breath of life in them came to Noah and entered the ark. We know this already. Okay. All right. Now, for 40 days the flood kept coming on the earth. And as the waters increased, they lifted the ark high above the earth. The waters rose and increased greatly on the earth, and the ark floated on the surface of the water. They rose greatly on the earth, and all the high mountains under the entire heavens were covered. So everything, the entire land was covered. There was supposedly no land left. No land that was left uncovered by water. The waters rose and covered the mountains to a depth of more than 15 cubits. Every living thing that moved on the land perished. Birds, livestock, wild animals, it doesn't fucking matter. This God that programs our minds killed everything in creation. Even though it wasn't their fault of any of the misdeeds, they were all going to suffer the consequences and perish. This is not a creator that I would follow. This is not a creator that I would ever worship. This is not an entity that's real and true in creation. It's put together on this paper in the Bible that brainwashes our minds. They want to give us the ways to live by. And this is how they do it. Now, when it was done killing all that it was created, well, we might as well just read in detail how this God of death enjoyed killing all of creation. Now, let's see. Everything on dry land that had breath of life in its nostrils died. Every living thing on the face of the earth was wiped out. People and animals and the creatures that moved along the ground and the birds were wiped from the earth. Only Noah was left and those with him in the ark. The waters flooded the earth for 150 days. For you Masonic 6. Yeah. It's crazy. Masonic stories they give us to believe in. We believe in it. Hook, line, and stinker. Every day of our lives. Okay, let's continue. Genesis 8. But God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and the livestock that were with him in the ark. I hope. What the fuck does that mean? But God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and the livestock that were with him in the ark. And he sent a wind over the earth, and the waters receded. Now, did this God that programs our mind, are they telling us that it may have forgotten that Noah and all the wild animals and the livestock were fucking floating out there in Nowhereville, where everything had just fucking been killed? Oh, incredible stupidity in this fucking book that millions and millions of minds have faith in and believe in. Are we seriously this fucked in the head, this programmed to believe shit like this? Oh, man. Now, this God that programs our minds sent a wind over the earth and waters receded. Now the springs of the deep and the floodgates of the heavens had been closed, and the rain had stopped falling from the skies. Now, the water receded steadily from the earth at the end of the 150 years, or 150 days, I'm sorry. The water had gone down, and on the 17th day of the 17th month, the ark came to rest. A lot of coding here, guys. A lot of coding. That's all in the Bible, Masonic coding. This is how we know it's not truth. And on the 17th day of the 17th month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. Or Ararat, or however the fuck they want to say it. Still borders that. Now, if everything had been wiped out, how in the fuck are they going to know specifically where they're at? I mean, the mountains of Ararat? Now, the mountains have a name, borders that divide. How's that possible? Everything's just been destroyed. None of that exists any longer. The slate has been wiped clean, but we still see a name of a mountain that names the borders. Okay. The waters continued to recede until the 10th month. And on the first day of the 10th month, more coding, the tops of the mountains became visible. After 40 days, Noah opened a window he had made in the ark and sent out a raven, and it kept flying back and forth until the water had dried up from the earth. Then he sent out a dove. More ritualistic crap going on here, guys. Sent out a raven. Sent out a dove. Sounds awfully familiar to what witches may do. Okay? And sacrilege and rituals. Okay, let's continue. Now, sent out a dove to see if the waters had receded from the surface of the ground, but the dove could find nowhere to perch, because there was water over all the surface of the earth. So it returned to Noah in the ark. He reached out his hand and took the dove and brought it back to himself in the ark. He waited 7 more days and again sent out the dove from the ark. Okay? 777 hopes. When the dove returned to him in the evening, there in its beak was a freshly plucked olive leaf. Okay. Now, guys, 7 days ago, this motherfucker couldn't find shit. Okay? Now, only 7 days go by. Sent out again, and this fucking bird comes back with olive leaf from a tree that fucking grew up and out in 7 fucking days. Okay. Unfucking real. The lies in this piece of shit that programs our minds. Then Noah knew that the water had receded from the earth. Now, if the force of all these waters were really flooded upon the earth, there would be no trees left. They would have all been uprooted. There's no possible way these trees would have been still standing when the waters receded. No way possible. Especially with any leaves on them. Okay. Now, he waited 7 more days and sent the dove out again, but this time it did not return to him. Okay, by the first day of the first month of Noah's 601st year, the water had dried up Okay, this is ridiculous. Okay, let's see. We really don't need to consume our mind with this bullshit anymore, really. It's all full of Masonic codes and brainwashing for your mind. It's ridiculous. That's why I really don't get into this absurdity with the Bible. And you consume this in your mind, and a lot of people do. It ruins your thought process. And not only that, it makes you into the person they want you to believe, that they want you to believe in the ridiculous things that they created for you. Such as these stories of lies that they brainwash your mind with. It's crazy. Now, okay, let's see. Then the God that programs our minds said to Noah, "Come out of the ark, you dumb fucker." You're too stupid to know when to do it on your own. So I must tell you what to do all the fucking time. Even though you were created with free will, I have to come and tell you what to do. You're useless. Now come out of that ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives. Bring out every kind of living creature that is with you. The birds, the animals, and all the creatures that move along the ground, so they can multiply on the earth and be fruitful and increase in numbers. Oh, they wouldn't have to do all that shit if you would have handled everything right the first time. You supposed God. So Noah came out together with his sons because he had to be commanded to. He's such an idiot. All the animals and all the creatures that moved along the ground, everything that moved on the land came out of the ark, one after another. Then Noah built an altar to the God that programs his mind. And taking some of all the clean animals and clean birds, he sacrificed burnt offerings on it. Now, wait a fucking minute here. Noah built an altar to the God that programs his mind. And he took some of all the clean animals and clean birds. He sacrificed burnt offerings on it. How is that fucking possible, people? These animals were with him to preserve their life, and now he's killing them and sacrificing them. He's extinguishing the life that they were created with. And he's burning their dead physical bodies. Okay? He extinguished the energy that they were created with. And now he's burning their dead flesh and offering it to this God. And these animals were meant to be saved so they can multiply. How is he fucking sacrificing them? Is there something that I missed? Oh man. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't say any amount of time has went by. I'm trying to figure out if time had went by from the time they landed the ship on some land. It says, bring out every kind of living creature that is with you, the birds, the animals, and all the creatures that move along the ground. And he did so, and say, so they can multiply on the earth and be fruitful. So Noah came out together with his sons and his wife and his son's wife, all the animals and all the creatures that move along the ground, and everything that moves on land came out of the ark, one kind after another. But then immediately, because there doesn't say any time went by, Noah built an altar. Couldn't took that long to build an altar, you know. Certainly not enough time for animals to procreate and to have babies. But here we go. Noah's already built an altar and taken some of the clean animals and clean birds and just extinguishing the energy that brings the body's life, and he just burns the bodies that once held the energy. So, yeah. First of all, I don't know any creator that would want part of his creation to kill another part of his creation and present it to what created all as sacrifice for sins that were manifested in a man-made world. Okay? It makes no sense whatsoever. All right? This is crazy shit, y'all. Now, this God that programs our mind smelled the pleasing aroma and said in his heart, okay, this God smelled the aroma of the burning carcasses, and it was a pleasing aroma. Come on now. Said in his heart, never again will I curse the ground because of humans, even though every inclination of the human heart is evil from childhood. And never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done. Can you? What the fuck? Okay, let's read this again. Now, the God that programs our mind likes the smell of the dead creation it created. And it makes it say, never again will I curse the ground because of humans. Even though every inclination of the human heart is evil. Now, the creator of all is supposed to be telling us here, every inclination of the human heart is evil from childhood. But this God that programs our minds supposedly created the human heart, and now it's calling it evil from childhood? Now, people, we know when a human child is born on this earth, we are at our purest form of innocence because we have not been programmed with the man-made knowledge such as the lies we're reading here in this book. As children, we are at our most innocent, the closest we can ever be in these unnatural systems we're born in. The closest we'll ever be to the creation we were meant to live in, because we're not yet fully programmed in this world. We're just starting out. So, yeah, I mean, we can tell that this God that's meant to program our minds is a Masonic God of the Trinity, of the pyramid that they want us to worship. So there's too many signs for us to point out while we read this garbage that people actually believe in or are programmed by. Now, I'm going to stop it here, and I love you guys. And just do your best to stay away from the churches that cycle the money. They enslave us and control us with. We know that the churches that believe these scriptures and teach these scriptures, they may be good people that we know in our lives, but they're programmed to believe this nonsense. They're programmed to do exactly what they're meant to do. I mean, they control your mind with this stuff. It's time to let it go. Love you guys.